Hello, everybody, and welcome to the True Love Talk channel. Here we want to learn about human sexuality and love based on the teachings that Pope John Paul II left in the Theology of the Body. I am Elisa, and today we're going to talk about post truth. So let's begin. So, before we begin with the post truth, first I would like us to think about how do we acquire any kind of truth. And basically, there are three ways we can do it. The first one being having a direct experience about it. So imagine that I am playing near a stove that has a pot of boiling water, and the pot falls on me, and I end up with 3-degree burns. That would teach me, and I would learn that boiling water burns, right? The second way is if I witness the direct somebody else's direct experience. So let's imagine that it is not me, but it is my cousin who's playing near the stove and he ends up at hospital. I would still learn that boiling water burns, right? And the third one is when somebody teaches us. There's literally somebody that knows about the subject that tells us about it and we believe. So anyway, from those three ways of gaining the truth, the first one, having a direct experience, is the best way to learn anything. But right now, science is too wide for us to be able to have direct experiences, all the direct experiences we need to just graduate high school. Basically, we cannot wait until we have all these experiences. And also, sometimes having the direct experience is not that desirable, and that is why I chose the example of the boiling water, because it's not desirable to learn about boiling water by having one's hand in it, right, and getting burned. And if it's not desirable for us to have the experience, it's also not desirable for anybody else to have it, right? We cannot expect for somebody else to get hurt so I can learn. There are things that need to be learned before anybody gets hurt. So learning by because somebody else teaches us is becomes the most normal way in which we learn anything, in which we acquire truth. But learning this way means having faith in our teachers. We have to believe and we have to choose to believe in what the teacher is saying, and we have to believe that the person is being honest about the subject and honestly has our best intentions in yeah once ¿cómo es? Once our has our best intentions in mind. Yes, has our best intentions in mind. Sorry, not English is not my native language, so not so easy. Anyway, yes, we have to trust our teachers. And this trust is usually well deserved. I mean, usually people do not want to trick us, and they're telling us what they believe is the truth. And also they want us to be okay. So yes, trusting people makes perfect sense, honestly. But then we get to the post-truth. Basically, the post-truth is a lie. It's a made-up narrative that doesn't really depict reality, and but it looks like it does. It sounds scientific. It sounds real. Actually, it sounds like that is actually the way that reality works, and one believes it, right? Because it is a lie, nobody has a first-hand experience about it, about the subject that we're talking about. But but we still believe it because people are very convincing. Sometimes these narratives are created to gain political control or economical gain, like what happened in this quarantine with the idea of the toilet paper shortage. Somebody said that because we were going to go into quarantine, we wouldn't, the producers of toilet paper would not be producing anymore. And at least here in Bogota, people panicked and everybody bought all the toilet paper they could buy. And turns out that because it's a basic necessity, these product, these produ, these produce, producers, no, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it. People who produce toilet paper are keep on working. Okay, that's basically the idea I was trying to get to. Anyway, yes, they keep producing, right? This was not going to happen, but still, that panic created a good boost to the economy, at least to in the toilet paper industry, right? It was pretty good. Anyway, sometimes people create their post-truth narratives because they want control and power. But sometimes we create and we believe these narratives because reality as it is, can be very frustrating or painful or complicated. And it's easier, these post-truth narratives offer something that goes more aligned with that it yeah, it's more aligned with our wishful thinking or what we want, our desires and our dreams, let's say. Okay, this uh, the greatest example that I have found so far is the way that we understand human sexuality nowadays. Nowadays, we understand human sexuality based on what happened in the sexual revolution. And basically, in the sexual revolution, they told us that everything that we had known prior to basically the 50s or the 60s, which is when it began, about sex and about human relationship and femininity and masculinity and so on, had been arbitrarily and culturally developed, and it actually had no reason. Actually, it has a reason. The reason is people who talk about the traditional understanding of sexuality want to control you. And this is why the modern individual, is allergic to the idea that truth may be absolute or unchangeable, right? Because they're trying to control you. For some reason, you're not having an orgasm helps somebody. I don't understand how, but yeah, that's basically what we're told. Anyway, here in usually in the narratives of the sexual revolution, reality functions by democracy. Remember in the last video when I told you that when I gave you the example of the abolition of the law of gravity by democracy, and I told you that it was impossible. Basically, in the post-truth, the most important part and most interesting and seductive part of the post-truth narratives is that reality works like that. And if enough people believe it, it becomes true. So, to give a common example, the most common example that I can think of right now, sex doesn't have to mean anything. If we don't want it, it has no importance at all. So, um, if two adults, consenting adults, decide to have fun for a night, they can do it and there are not going to be much repercussions. When people say that, I always ask, would you like to be cheated on by your significant other? Would you like to find them in bed with somebody else? Obviously, the answer is always no. Why not? Because we instinctively know, even if nobody else says it, we know that sex means I love you. And it is a very deep way of saying I love you because it happens with our bodies. And our bodies are not just a set of clothes that we put on every morning. Our bodies are part of who we are. So if it is said with our bodies, this is real and this is true. And that is why it's so scary to think of our significant other having sex with somebody else. Even even in these open relationships, I have always noticed that at least one, if not both people, feel bad when they find out that the other person has someone else. They're fine when they get someone else, though. So much fun to be free to do whatever you want. But when the other person gets it, that's when they get scared. And that's when it's not so good and the tensions start and so on. But regardless of that, people are going to claim that if you feel bad, if you feel heartbroken, if you don't feel well about this, it's because somebody taught you that you should feel bad about it. And all you have to do to heal your heartbreak is to believe that you're okay and magically you will become okay. We all know that's not true. And that is why these narratives are so dangerous because they can lead people, and they have led a lot of people into making choices and decisions that hurt them greatly. So, that's basically the situation for now for this video. The next video, we're going to talk about human sexuality. What is human sexuality? I'm very glad to see that you stayed until the end of the video. If you have any comment or any question, please write it down in the comment section below. I will try to answer it as soon as possible. See you in the next video. Have a nice day. Lots of blessings for everybody. Bye.